We have risen from the ashes to school the masses. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Scholars of Wrestling Show. I'm your man behind the microphone and your current reigning Scholars of Wrestling Party Champion. I forgot my belt in the other room, but it's okay because I'm Scholar Jeff. Joining us this week, the OG Undisputed Scholar himself. He is the one and only Scholar Tarek. Scholar Tarek, how is your evening going, sir?
Nonstop working. I am finally able to actually stop the working. And now I'm going to talk about wrestling with a very, very good man. And I am kind of excited about the discussions, but also just because of what's been happening ever since WrestleMania, I'm cautiously optimistic.
Yeah, that's we're jumping right out of the gate with a consensus here. There is a lot of cautious optimism coming out of the WWE Draft, which just finished tonight by the time we're recording this. But we're going to go into detail about all of it. But first, we got to kick things off right with a little bit of something we like to call backstage news.
Indeed. It's been a while since I've been on the show. So let's see how things are different by peeking behind that curtain. Is it anything different? Is there? Yeah, it's the world. Everything is different when it comes to
Backstage
news.
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 I finally have an opportunity to do that part, man.
News. News.
But yes, there is obviously the news du jour, so to speak, is the WWE Draft, which just finished round one tonight on SmackDown by the time we're recording this. But we also had another announcement. Another announcement in the manner of a surprise Twisted Metal trailer for the new TV series on Peacock. What does this have to do with the world of professional wrestling? Well, because wrestling's own Samoa Joe has been confirmed to be playing at least the body part of the titular character Sweet Tooth from the Twisted Metal series. It took me a minute. It was not. Apparently, they are having a separate voice actor to dub over his lines because, well, mask. But yeah, we're getting Samoa Joe as Sweet Tooth.
That's actually really exciting. It makes sense. And it also explains why he hasn't been on television ever since he lost the TNT title to Wardlow. So it's very exciting. I haven't seen the trailer yet. I'll watch it on the way home. But I'm actually really excited to see this. I wonder if anything he'll have, since most likely we're not going to see his face, if he'll actually have like a separate character appearance, like maybe even like a cameo of something, just to be like, okay, here he is as a separate background character, and here he is as a main character, but you don't get to see his face.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. I noticed in some of the later Twisted Metal games, they do have some cutscenes like that where they actually have the actual actor below the mask and sort of like before he became Sweet Tooth.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they sort of
Ooh,
also play it like there's like alternate personalities where like there's one personality with the mask and without. So I do find myself wondering if they're actually going to have Samoa Joe play sort of pre Sweet Tooth, Needles Kane. I think that's his name.
that as you were explaining that, I'll be like, I was even thinking, I'm like, flashbacks. Interesting.
Yeah, it's funny. If you look up, so you can look up the FMV sequences on YouTube. They're all over the place. And the mask, with the exception of just having like actual flames on his head, the mask looks almost exactly the same. So it certainly seems possible.
So you said it's a series. It's not a like a actual like special movie special. It's actually a series.
It's
like
looking like it's going
multi-episode.
to be a TV series with multiple episodes and apparently starring Anthony Mackie.
Okay, I'm looking.
Yeah,
Ooh.
it's not what you expect it's going to be. This one took me by surprise quite a bit, but
Yeah,
in a
I'm
good
looking
way.
up pictures. I'm looking up pictures now. And okay, I think got rid of it. I think okay. Even with the mask, I still see Samoa Joe. I look at his eyes and
Yeah,
I'm just
it
thinking,
took me a minute.
Joe.
It took me a minute because the stature seemed a lot or very similar rather to the previous live action interpretations of Sweet Tooth. So I'm like,
Mhm.
at first it was so similar at a passing glance, I didn't even notice it at first. Once it was confirmed that it was Samoa Joe, I was like looking at the hairline, I'm looking at the physique, I'm like, okay, yeah, now I see it.
Did he get like into act like better shape from what you see, or is it still just
No, like
it's still Joe?
Joe's natural physique actually is extremely close to the way they portrayed him in the last games. So it's a natural fit. They probably just got Samoa Joe knowing that's the physique they were going for Sweet Tooth, where sort of stout, stocky, but also just like, you know, muscle.
Beefy man.
Yeah, he's a big beefy man beef guy who also likes ice cream. So go figure. There
Of
you go.
course,
That's your Sweet Tooth.
he's a clown. All
Uh,
clowns like ice cream.
Hell yeah. This either way,
I
like
caught you off guard on that one. I saw
yeah,
your
I'm
face, and
like
you're just
I
like,
clown
it's like all
sure,
clowns.
why
It's
not?
like all clowns like ice cream. Do they? It's like
I
that
don't
little
know.
bit of doubt.
My clown foo is weak. But either way, the show is looking very interesting. I'll probably end up checking it out, even though I only played one of the games, but the entire show just looks so maddening. It could potentially be great. So I, as a wrestling fan, as just as a fan of video games, am going to be checking this out. But that deserves a little special mention before we get into the subject at hand. The WWE Draft Night One for year 2023 has just occurred. We got round one, and over the course of SmackDown, we got some very interesting picks. Starting with round one, there were no really real surprises here. We knew that we got Roman Reigns, Solo Sikoa, and Bianca Belair be going to SmackDown. And confirmed for Monday Night Raw, we got Cody Rhodes and Becky Lynch. All first round draft picks. No shock at all. But in the eyes of some, this does potentially confirm something that some of us were worried about, at least when it comes to Cody Rhodes.
I don't want him to win that title. I'm just gonna flat out and say it right there. I actually think it's a mistake if he wins the title, at least being the inaugural champion. Um, like if he wins it down the line, we're just gonna have to deal with it because even though it's a brand new world title, it's still in many eyes, including my own, and including some other one other particular scholar, this is a consolation title. This is the until like I've made it perfectly clear on this show how I wanted the WWE structure to be if they ever decided to do a draft again, or if they wanted to do the brand split again. Of course, they're not going with that route. They're having two world champions. It's inevitable that they're going to break up the tag team titles, uh, or they'll just do what they did with the world title and just make a new one because why the hell not? Because having a third world title is enough. Making a third tag team titles, or no. that's something that's wrong. I actually, it's a fourth world title if you count the NXT world title.
Ugh, we've got too many world titles in this mess. It's
I
but
don't
you know
care if
what?
people are like, oh, it doesn't count. It's the developmental. It doesn't count. They have a world title. It's the NXT world title. It counts. That's their big prize of that brand. And if okay, so they're gonna have brand champions. Whoop de doo. I still feel like we should have had one world champion that can show up on both shows. Tag team champion that could show up on both shows. Uh the two mid card titles would have been the brand titles. But again, that was just how I figured it would have been a good structure. But for what we have now, the introduction of the new World Heavyweight Championship, immediate response, I like the design. I like that it's a pretty much an updated version of the big gold, but just WWE style, or as I just like to call it, it's I jokingly say it's the WCW championship with the WWE logo splurting out because Vince McMahon just has to remind everyone that he beat WCW, but that's not the case.
I was
Like I
gonna
said,
say
that's
that.
just a joke.
Okay, you
That's
had me
just
going there. I thought you were serious about that for a
no,
second.
no,
I really
no.
did.
When I posted it on our group message, I'm just like, I'm joking. I just saw that and I just looked at the title and I just was like, man, can't they just let WCW die? But again, that was just
Well,
for jokes. I like the
something, but though then again, some things like the classic belt design are worth keeping around.
oh, of
I
course.
personally love this remix to it.
I like the remix of it too. It just stems a lot of questions and just a lot of frustration, which is just felt throughout the internet wrestling community, like literally everyone. Just going, okay, so you can't you can't beat Roman, so here's your at least you tried championship, and hopefully, like right now, you really can't. It's very hard to argue that. Uh, but I'm hopeful that they are able to book it correctly, so to the point where okay, it can be viewed as a title of great importance. I'm hopeful of that. But then there's also just the question, is this actually continuing the previous World Heavyweight Championship, or is this its own brand new thing? Is it like just brand new title? Right. So, like, I guess with them saying the inaugural champion, I guess it is just a brand new title, and like the previous lineage or of the WWE Big Gold, the one that hilariously enough Triple H got by Eric Bischoff. I guess that lineage is over, and now is just starting new.
Here's the way I see it. I am under the impression that all previous world titles were sort of integrated into the lineage of the WWE undisputed, whatever you want to call whatever Roman Reigns has now. And that this new belt is essentially a new lineage that, in initial concept, I really hate, but I think there's a legitimately real chance that as much as we're all expecting that it's going to go, the initial champion is going to be Cody Rhodes,
I don't.
I am not too, well, even if he isn't the first inaugural champion, I think he's going to be at least the second or third. I'm convinced
Most likely.
he is absolutely going to win it at some point this year, even if he's not the first. However, given the style of the belt, I don't see them carrying around a total of 3 belts beyond all of their champions. I just do not. I do not see that. My hope in a perfect world will be that this actually leads up to another rematch between Cody and Roman at WrestleMania 40. Like, okay, we're finishing this, we're finishing the job. I'm happy for the belt, but this isn't everything. I need everything. I need to beat you. I will beat you. At WrestleMania 40, he does and unifies all of these belts into just he unifies all the belts into just one big gold belt. I'm hoping that's what they do. And I think there's a legitimate shot that that will be the end game. Because if it's not, then that confirms that they totally blew it at WrestleMania 39.
Oh, they don't even need this to show that they blew it at WrestleMania 39. I wasn't at the review show, so I'll just say it right now. My rating for WrestleMania 39 is Peach Fuzz 2 out of 5. Brian said night one was enough to raise it. It wasn't enough for me. I for
On that we
my
agree.
on my the way I looked at it is I even said it to you in a previous conversation. I looked at this as it's how you leave the audience. And just how night 2 went was just completely infuriating. And it wasn't just because, as Brian put it in the review show, just choosing with my heart and I didn't like the result. I'll just say that with Brian, you know me. We're tag partners. We run this place. I wasn't choosing any of those with my heart. I was going as like the best possible option. But that was weeks ago, and yes, I'm still feeling the effects of that. I still feel like they completely flubbed it. I feel just now the bloodline storyline has now reached that point where we're just it's kind of done. If it's just for them waiting for the draft to be completed, fine. But it's just at the cost of this great story that you were telling. I'm just now officially done with Roman's title reign. They're like, even if it is just to get to the 1,000 days, it was at a great cost. I just honestly I'm kind of done just with the bloodline now.
And I
It is
honestly
such
cannot
a
believe
relief.
they actually did that. Like, it seems like such an arbitrary number with no real tangible meaning. Like, yeah, you got the 1,000 days. Now what? At the cost, like it's like Avengers. What did it cost? A new big star. A new big star.
Which is even
Boom.
hilarious enough because the way I look at it and the way of some people have looked at this storyline, uh, with the bloodline, Roman Reigns in particular, like people are comparing him to Thanos to the point where it's like we are constantly reliving the end of Infinity War, where Thanos just keeps winning and we're just never going to get an end game. And we got multiple opportunities, at least 3 opportunities to get that end game moment. One of them, not so, one of those 3 opportunities we knew it wasn't going to be, but we just love Sami Zayn that much.
There is something
um,
said for that.
but we have the end game moments on silver platters. It was just something beautiful, and then just once again, you should have gone for the head.
Well, you know
But
what? I'm sorry, continue before we move on.
but it's just now at that point where again, I'm done with Roman's title reign. Uh the introduction of this new world title, at least how Triple H presented it, it was made it seem like a consolation prize. And now unless they actually put this into a storyline aspect of now, yes, he's reaching 1,000 days as that champion, but now really, what does that championship mean now with another world title? Uh, like, well, now it's the question, who can now, it's not even about the title anymore. It's now just about who can beat Roman. And I feel like that also hurts the championships now to the point where it just it's Jade Cargill feeling
Yeah,
when it
you know
comes
what? Yeah, as
to
much
his
as I
title reign.
like Jade Cargill, still that is the most apropos thing I've seen. But yeah, we
It's
all
not
get
just a
it.
point. It's like it's not just the point of. It's not the point of. It's like, oh, who can now beat Roman for the title? It's now just can we just get this over with, please? Can we just move on to something more interesting? You have plenty of other people that can actually carry that title and carry the company to a good grounds. And yeah, I'm it's now just done. I'm done. Like they say it was like, oh, WrestleMania, what's the word? When when you're just when you're tired,
Burned out.
WrestleMania burnout. Yeah, I guess that's right.
I don't know, but
But
I will
it's
say, yeah. I'm sorry. Continue.
no, I'm just gonna end. It's like I've had that burnout a long time ago, and now it's reached the point of just it's not just a burnout of just from WrestleMania. It's burnout of just the blood Roman Reigns' championship reign.
Fair enough. But in this, and I was after the first round, I definitely agreed with you on that. Until I started seeing some of the moves that were being made with the other rounds of night one of this.
Mm-hmm.
Because second round, we did get some very interesting picks. We got the Street Profits and Edge going to SmackDown, and going to Raw, we had Matt Riddle and all of Imperium, which is leading me to believe that within this next year, assuming Cody Rhodes does end up winning the world title at the new world title at some point, another thing I can see happening is Gunther eventually, once he breaks the Honky Tonk Man's record for the Intercontinental title, once that's done, once his Intercontinental title reign is done, you can very easily put Gunther in the running for the Raw World Championship. That's something I see much further on down the road. That does it. I admit it does give me hope. How does that sound to you?
I Gunther winning a world title. Yay. Uh, but it's also the question, like, is his first real opportunity, like, is it going to be like guaranteed long? I'm trying to find the right words of this. Is it going to be like just with other leading contenders? Like for me, my number one guy who I think is going to win it is Seth Rollins. I think he's going to be the inaugural champion. Uh, when you have Seth Rollins, now Drew McIntyre as another candidate who was drafted, Finn Balor, Cody Rhodes, and we're in the era of long title reigns. Is it going to be the best? Is he going to be like thrown right into the title picture and just be one of those guys who are just for the baby face to conquer?
I don't think so, and I think that is part of the beauty of having Gunther in the position that he's in right now. Because right now they can absolutely have him just not only beat the Honky Tonk Man streak, but also just totally demolish it. They can have him terrorize the Intercontinental title scene for as long as they want. And then as soon as they need a big bad heel to go after the world title and possibly even win it, it's like, okay, in case of emergency, break the Gunther glass. Okay, they push the Gunther button, send him out. It's like an instant heel feud ready to go whenever they need it. You see
I
what I'm
hope
saying?
so. Yeah, I hope so because we've seen what he done with one world title in the under WWE's umbrella with the NXT UK World Championship, and he like even though it was we here in the states rarely saw those matches, they were still awesome matches. The man had a great title reign. The man can do no wrong. He's just continuing to be my WWE superstar of the year so far. Possibly even just wrestler of the year for Scallies.
Oh, he's definitely putting in work and effort, and it's all coming up Gunther. But the hits just keep on hitting, as you alluded to earlier. The third round, we got some interesting picks too. From Raw, we got Drew McIntyre and The Miz going there. But this time, not only do we get Bobby Lashley going to SmackDown, but we also got the entirety of the OC coming back. AJ Styles, Gallows and Anderson, and Michin, Mia Yim, they're all on SmackDown now. They all came back all at once, and they immediately got into a fight with the Viking Raiders and Valhalla. Like, they sort of came out of nowhere in my eyes, and they looked fresh and ready to go.
It's such a relief to see AJ Styles back. Even if it's just like I don't know if he's fully recovered from his injury. He's just there as support for Gallows, Anderson, and Mia Yim to face Viking War Raider experience in Valhalla.
Given what we saw, it seems like that very well may be the case. He was just sort of like, he was just like, "Hey, OC, handle your business," and then they just had like a brief intergender scuffle between the two factions. So the impression I got from this, I could be wrong, but it looks like as much as AJ Styles is getting there, he's not 100% and hasn't been cleared yet. So he's almost like the mouthpiece, the functioning mouthpiece for this Viking War Raider experience feud until, and then once that's done, AJ should be ready to go.
That's good. Okay, that's fine. Uh, again, he was missed. It's nice to see him and another potential rivalry for Roman.
And again, there's going to be some carryover feuds until there is the inevitable return match between Cody and him. I'm
Hmm.
still convinced of that unless it looks like they're really going in a very different direction for Roman at WrestleMania. I still have hope. I'm going to be watching that like a hawk.
I in response of your merging of the world titles thing, I still don't. I said it before when you brought it up, and I'm just saying on the show. I don't think they're bringing in a brand new world title just to have it for a year or less than a year and just merge it with another belt. I don't. If it looks like they're being very serious with this new brand split with actual legit like separate brands. The only way I can actually really see Cody going for a world title shot against Roman again is if he wins the Rumble again.
And you know what? It's not necessarily the most unheard of thing in the world either.
It's not like we haven't had back to back Royal Rumble winners.
Oh
Oh, hell
yes.
yeah.
Oh hell yeah indeed. So there's a lot of possibilities. I'm still remaining somewhat hopeful, but even then the last and final uh because that's what it means. The final round of the night one of the draft actually did produce some very interesting results that I personally did not see coming at all. We got drafted in the final round. First, we got Damage Control, going to SmackDown. And then also for SmackDown, we got the NXT Women's Tag Team Champions, Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. I was not expecting them to be called up. And followed quickly after that, we got Shinsuke Nakamura drafted to Monday Night Raw. And then Indy Hartwell got drafted to Monday Night Raw, which everyone seemed just as shocked as anybody else. But this actually had me going, wow, these are some picks. Everything is being remixed real nice right now. I dig it.
It is very interesting. And one thing I noticed with these picks is that I don't know if it's just me noticing, but I'm just looking at these lists. I'm like, oh, let's see. There, Raw got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. SmackDown definitely got the more people than Raw did. Because like I said, Raw got like 11, and SmackDown 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with this both Street Profits, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 with the 4 members of the OC, 3 members of Damage Control, and the women's tag team champions of NXT. So, does this mean that Raw is going to just get a big number of superstars in comparison to SmackDown getting their big number of superstars for their show?
That is my guess. Given the way that they've been conducting this draft, I believe they're going to be doing something similar for the second half on Monday Night Raw. I believe they're going to absolutely do that, but for the time being, I got to admit, I was really impressed with a lot of these picks. They're with a few notable exceptions, I feel like a lot of these picks are ones I didn't think of right away. And as I'm looking over the list right here in front of me, I'm starting to really see some potential interesting possibilities for feuds. Again, we talked at length about Cody versus Roman and how we can get there and how that should be pulled off. But even elsewhere on the card, we've got new possibilities for women's tag matches. There's new injections of talent into the main event title scene for the women too. Shinsuke Nakamura is back. AJ Styles is back. Just so many different remixes and returns that it's honestly enough to get me cautiously optimistic again. What do you think?
No, I guess the one thing that has me optimistic is just the reports I've read of once the draft officially begins, Triple H is back being full head of creative, maybe some pitches from Vince, but this is now Triple H's television show. It's no longer a TV show for an audience of one of Vince McMahon. This is now TV shows for an audience of all. No more out of touch old man who could possibly turn people into stereotypical cartoon characters. I'm hopeful for that, but now seeing how WrestleMania pretty much brought back that whole, oh, maybe WWE isn't so bad after all. Yeah, we're a bunch of assholes. It's like we just get your hopes up just to disappoint you again. So I'm being optimistic, but still cautiously optimistic because, of course, I want my wrestling to be good. That's all I want. Doesn't matter if it's AEW, WWE. I just want good, consistent storytelling that is not offensive or dated or just flat out stupid.
Fair enough. More than fair enough. That all being said, I have to admit I didn't hear this rumor of after the draft Triple H is going to be totally going back uninterrupted And what we saw recently was just a side effect of the sale going through,
Hmm.
or at least being confirmed, or whatever whatnot. I'm not a money guy, but either way, I really hope that this is the case. And as we're looking ahead, I think we're going to have that confirmed or denied over the next several weeks. But before we bring things to a close, I do have a small Scholars Quick Talk question for you. As we're looking ahead to Monday Night Raw and round two of the draft, what what are a few names that you would want to see get drafted and to where? Do you want me to open up this one? Why do you think?
Go right ahead. Because I know they like split the open names in half. Like, oh, these are the people that are being drafted tonight, and now next week here's Group B that's being drafted on Raw.
Yeah, I fully
So
confess I did not pay any attention at all to who was in what draft pool. But I will say I have been giving this a little bit of thought. This is just my completely biased, one-sided opinion. But obviously, first round draft pick, the Judgment Day is going to have to go pretty early on, since we're talking about Rhea Ripley as being in the mix. So she's probably going to have to, the entirety of the Judgment Day is going to have to go to Monday Night Raw. As far as NXT call ups, I can definitely see Cameron Grimes being called up. There was a lot of rumors that Pretty Deadly was going to get called up.
mhm.
There's a whole lot of people that could potentially be called up. Could have sworn Zoe Stark was going to get called up, but I feel like now that Indy Hartwell got called up, I think they're going to need her to stay back a little bit longer.
I think she's injured.
Potential Is Zoe Stark injured?
I think because I know I saw a big list of some NXT women with ACL injuries.
I thought someone else had an ACL injury, but either
There's
way,
like at least 8 of them that have ACL injuries, and I think Zoe Starks is one of them.
okay. Yeah, I feel
I need to
like
confirm that, but I'm pretty sure she was on that list, or at least list is just the pictures of each of them. Uh, I I know I saw it.
hmm. Well, why you dig that up?
We'll figure that out like once the show is over. But I'm
Yeah. Either way, I don't see too many other people now that Indy Hartwell got called up. A lot of the other standout talents, I feel like from NXT, I feel like they need a little bit more time to cook and gather reps. Meanwhile, Indy has more than graduated at this point. But
mhm.
elsewhere, I'm also wondering, I'm also going to make a bold prediction here. I think they're going to announce Bray Wyatt being drafted back to being maintained on SmackDown. Hopefully, whatever he's dealing with is over soon. But
Hopefully.
I'm guessing they're probably going to make that announcement just to put everyone at ease, like, okay, he's still in the mix. So I'm thinking that, and I'm also thinking that they're going to draft LA Knight to SmackDown. Or not, LA Knight to Raw, pardon me.
That would be
That,
nice. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, they really need to mix him up quite a bit, and I think this is going to be the new frontier for him to really spread his wings and flex his muscles. Yeah.
Yeah. I just
So
love
yeah,
how popular he's getting. He
yeah,
is
they
getting really popular with the crowd. His promo skills are just astounding.
it's
And I just love
undeniable now.
how
They have to do something with him. They
I
have
just
to.
I think I just love the how natural it's getting. He's getting. But I
So
don't even know.
yes,
It's like with the names going to Raw, would he actually with like Shinsuke get the list back up? With Gunther, Drew. Hopefully he'll find a good place to flourish on either brand.
Yeah, even just from the small fraction of the list we've got in front of us right now, he can fit in well with he can make anything work with just about anybody. I think uh, I'm
I
seeing
kind of want
Matt
him to
Riddle
turn.
jump out at me.
I kind of want to see him actually turn face. Not the like
Yeah,
full on good guy baby face. Just
Rock style.
pretty much, yeah, Rock slash Austin style. Just him just ripping people apart. Yeah.
Yeah, he's almost there right as it is now with all the cheers and everything he's been getting.
Hmm.
So I'm convinced they know that they've got something good with him. Just a matter of who else is going to be given a fresh coat of paint after the draft. Any thoughts?
Uh, I did have him. Now I'm blanking out. I do want to see Chad Gable flourish by himself. As much as I love his stuff with Otis, whatever. I actually want this to be a good like as you put it, a fresh coat of paint for him. Cause man, that guy he needs something. He is too good to just be putting just the guy who's putting people over or just losing to people. I mean, hell, he lost to Mustafa Ali in a joke match. The man, he needs more. I think this draft would do wonders for him, but like pretty much really be the new Kurt Angle. Because he's I feel like the shush is reaching that point where he is now like Kurt Angle when he first came in, and he's just his shush is his three eyes essentially.
Yeah, I don't. If at best I don't see him reaching full Kurt Angle World Champion status, but I can see him reaching Ricky Steamboat level if that makes
Hmm.
sense.
Oh yeah, I get that, and I actually I could see him go that far too. I would love to see him win a world title, but I also don't think they'll actually give it to him. But if he actually ever did, I would have just be going, yeah, finally recognition for your greatness, sir, Mister you Olympian man.
You will.
Shush, shush.
I'll tell you what, there is a whole heck of a lot of really talented people moving around, and I'm actually more excited for Monday Night Raw at this point than I really ever expected to be at this point. But those are our thoughts on the first night of the WWE Draft for 2023. Now is the point in the show where we turn back to you, our fellow fans. What did you think of the draft? How well do you think it goes? Who should go where? What do you think of the draft so far? Whatever you think, we want to hear from you. So drop us a line all across the internet. On YouTube, drop us a comment. If you're on Facebook or on the Twitter machines, drop us a comment there and join in the conversation. Cool. Where can they reach you on Twitter?
You can reach me at the Avataric.
And you can reach me at I'm Robbie Rage. And for all of these social media links and more, just check out the link in our description to our link tree. It's right down below. Just check us out at linktree/scholars of wrestling for even more fun. And with that, we are going to get on out of here. We have a lot more wrestling to catch up on, and we're going to be talking about it all because you know who we are. We are the scholars of wrestling, and you have just been schooled. You're
You're
welcome.
welcome.
See you all for more action in the draft.